to infinity and...
Lightyear! Let all the children begin.
And today we have the, I don't know if I want to say long awaited, but Lightyear. I wasn't super pumped or excited. I mean, it looked good, and I have no issues with Toy Story or with Buzz Lightyear or any of the characters therein. It just didn't seem exciting, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed like a generic space sci-fi action animated movie. But then as the release date got closer, some people online were saying some good things about it. Nothing too crazy, but like decent reviews, right? So as with all movies, I had to at least give it a go and see kind of what we're up against here. Long story short, Lightyear is directed by an Angus MacLane, I believe is how you say the name. Last big directorial film was actually years ago with Finding Dory. And aside from that, just a bunch of... He's one of those guys that does Pixar shorts, not the pre-movie shorts, but he's done a lot of the... He's helped direct a lot of the films that are like, oh, take a character from this Pixar film and then make a short film about that character. He's done a lot of that. He's been involved with Pixar as early as The Incredibles back in the day, but in different varying capacities. So now he's got at least 2 actual Pixar projects under his belt for directing. In terms of the cast, there's a bunch of names that people would know. The main one being Buzz Lightyear is being played by Chris Evans, or as you would probably know him, Captain America. he's been a lot, but he's a household name at this point. I know there was a lot of people upset when they found out Buzz Lightyear wasn't going to be voiced by the same guy who'd been voicing him, but I also get it. It's a younger, like early days, and as opposed to, I guess the movie's supposed to have him as this kind of older veteran. So overall, I get the decision. I wasn't too upset with it. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it really majorly had an impact on the story one way or the other. Aside from him, I want to give 2 shout-outs. One to who is arguably the secondary main protagonist, played by Keke Palmer. She did a great job. I'm not familiar with too much of her work. I didn't do a lot of research before this, but I mean, she also is one of the emotional cruxes of the film's narrative, her and Chris Evans' character together. But definitely, I gotta give a shout out to probably one of, if not the best parts of the film. Peter Sohn, however you say his name. Socks the cat. I'll get more into him in a minute, but Socks the cat, Great stuff. So overall, we'll start with the positives going into this. Animation is killer as always. It's one of Pixar's strongest suits. Is regardless of how good or bad Pixar films have been throughout the years, they always at least look great. Like the animation's always up there, you know, so no problems there. And this one being a sci-fi kind of, not really, I mean, moments where it kind of gets dark, but really a sci-fi space adventure. The lighting is great, the use of colors and sci-fi tech, but it's like that simplified sci-fi tech in the way that if you were to get like a Playmobil spaceship launch, would all just be one go or start button, like that type of deal. It's hard to explain, but nothing ever looked too complicated. It was just shiny plastic sci-fi animation, if that makes any sense. The voice acting is great. I have no qualms. Say what you want about the story, which I will in a minute, but the characters are all brought to life by the respective actors. I got the emotion from a lot of them. A couple line readings here were maybe lacked an emotional punch a little bit, but not enough to completely take down the film and its overall enjoyment. It was just, if at its worst it was serviceable, at its best there were some good scenes with some good voice work. So in terms of the film, solid opening, an opening that was trying, it felt like Pixar was trying its best to contend with the opening to Up, you know. It tried to have that emotional punch and it got close, but nothing has ever really compared to the opening for Up since Up. So props for trying. My favorite moments were that bit at the beginning. There was a really solid bit in Act 3 with some decent acts throughout, but there were some solid moments, but not a lot of moments that I loved. This isn't the glue of the film, but Socks is the GOAT, man. I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm not gonna like Socks. This is gonna be this silly little companion, like just gonna be played for comedic relief. And definitely Socks provides comedic relief, but it's genuinely funny. I did not think I was going to like Socks, and I really liked Socks' character. I think he may have been one of, if not the better parts of the film. So, yeah, Socks is great. In terms of the cons, though, I mean, look, this isn't anything new or exciting. This film plays it safe. It's just safe and shiny. I don't know if that's maybe it's great. It's like really good. I'd say it works. That's it. It works. It gets its point across. It doesn't do anything revolutionary. It doesn't do anything crazy like, oh my god, Lightyear is like the new Up, the new Toy Story 3, the new this or that. It just feels like Pixar films as of late. Kind of like, I mean, even Disney's been cranking out better content arguably than Pixar has in itself. Pixar films still look good. Like, not everybody's talking about Lightyear right now, you know what I mean? The movie's been out for almost a week and nobody's like, oh my god, Lightyear was so good, oh it's a contender for Toy Story, it's crucial to be part of that series. Like, no, I mean, it exists, survives on its own 2 feet. I don't think it really fills out any more of that universe than it already had. It's a good watch, but it just doesn't really do a whole lot of anything for me. The plot's fairly predictable. There's a couple moments where I guess you can call them like decent twists, so neat. I mean, they're ones where if you really think hard enough about it, you could piece it together, but the twists that happen, you know, they're all right. They work. They make I found the plot to be interesting. I never once was like feeling bored or not entertained. You know, it just wasn't anything fantastic. You're just watching like a good show, but it's not a great or fantastic show. So it's just kind of, Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about the movie. That's about it. I mean, I saw it in IMAX. I thought it was really cool in IMAX. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it again. It's really weird to like describe my thoughts about this film because it's not a film that I'm dying to see again. It's not a film that I would dissuade anybody from seeing, but it's just, you know, it's a good watch. It's a safe watch. It's a good, you know, family flick. Tugged at me a little bit, you know, reminding me of the Toy Story that I grew up with, because that franchise was one of the main franchises that I did grow up with. So the whole conceit of this film is, this was way back in the day when Andy was a kid. This was his favorite movie, and it starred the titular action hero Buzz Lightyear, and that's why he ended up getting the action figure. But it's just kind of, it's neat how that's kind of like diegetic to the franchise, where it's like, oh, this is a movie that was created in the universe of Toy Story, and it was Andy's favorite movie. Now we get to watch Andy's favorite movie. So it's nice. I think it works for the kids, it works for adults, and of course, if you're someone like around my age range who really enjoys Toy Story, then it's just kind of like, it's like what Star Wars is doing these days. Is the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show a masterpiece? Heavens no. I, however, am enjoying it because it's more Star Wars, and I like Star Wars, and at the very least, it's good. So, similar to this, is Lightyear the next big Pixar film that we're going to be talking about for years to come? No, it's not. Is it bad? Heavens no. It's still a really good film. It's just, that's all it is. It just exists as the baseline of, a really solid Pixar animated film. Done. That's it. But I gotta be fair, the movie doesn't do a whole lot wrong aside from just kind of, you know, drag in the second act a little bit and just not offer anything new or exciting. There's creativity, good voice work, killer animation as Pixar has always wanted to do. And voice work is great, Socks is great. I enjoyed myself. It looked great in IMAX. Overall, I would give Lightyear a very low 4 out of 5. I would give Lightyear a low 4 out of 5. Will it make my top 10 for this year? Probably not. I would be surprised if it did, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize it for what it is, and that's a very good Pixar film. Solid, animated feature. That's just all it is at its definition. I would recommend watching it. You'll have a fun time, probably. I'm just saying, you're not going to be talking about it the way that I hold some movies close to my heart. I'm in reverence of many animated films. There are many other animated films and shows that I would rather recommend, bring up, and talk about than this one, but at the same time, like I said, I wouldn't dissuade you from seeing it. So honestly, that's all I have to say about Lightyear. That was my review. Thank you very much for watching, all 8 or 10 of you or whatever. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye, travelers.